Good evening, everyone. It is December 14th, 2023, and Dow holding well above the all-time high. The NASDAQ getting real close to the cash all-time high. S&P has some room. What happened today was we ran into the highs of this balance. This is a little top green zone. Sold off. This was a gap up. We closed the gap, came a little bit lower, found some bids, and closed pretty much right back at the highs of that prior balance area. Tomorrow, OPEX is the big one. Pre-market, some news right before the bell as well, and then right after the bell, 9:45. So I'll probably sit it out until 10 a.m. and then I imagine it's going to get pretty quiet as this OPEX stuff starts to happen, and usually what we can expect is a pin of some kind. So here is what I'm looking at on the ES. Not really interested in getting long anywhere below 63-ish down to the prior day's low. If you're breaking 63 would put us below settlement highs, below value area low, and at that point, I imagine we'd have accepted below the opening range low, the IB low, all that sort of stuff. Would probably come into this prior day's low, maybe get some covering out of there. But really, I think the important spot to hold is this 37.5 to 32.5 area. If I can scroll back here to 2022, that's kind of the spot, right? This over here. If we turn this off, this sort of thing, right? That's kind of the balance of interest. Buyers are going to be interested in holding it above inside of this balance and really kind of above here. That's what I'm looking at. So here is how I imagine we'd want to be playing the day. Long, somewhere around the prior day's low, but really 37, 32-ish. Nice that will, where are the ADR lows? ADR lows are right around the prior day's low. Above, perhaps a long around settlement highs. Settlement highs 64 quarter, 63 and 3/4 looks like the level to me. I had 63 quarter coming into today. Point of control at 67s, 69 is the other level I'm interested in. That's where we had this nice bid before the euro close, 69 to kind of 71. You can see we're repeatedly offered off of that 70 area before this mega ramp into the close, and we kept getting bids around 72, 70, 70, 69, around there. You got a pivot thing right at 69, so probably not a bad spot. Above, if we start to get into 79-ish, if we clear the open, today's RTH open at 79, clear this point of control at 79 and 3/4, the trailing point of control, I imagine we'll go ahead and visit this spot up here around 86, and I think that will be a sell. We clearly trapped some guys as they were trying to break out for a new high of the day, and instead got this humongous afternoon sell-off, whatever this was, a pretty linear 40-point sell. So I think you will be fighting momentum a little bit, but probably not a bad spot to get short above there. And I don't really want to be shorting this thing. Yeah, there's a level at 90 or something like that. But really, I think we're going to come to 95 and 3/4. Again, if we go back in time to 2022, let's see. There we go. Roughly where this wick sold off, you can see another really nice wick bouncing off of it, and some nice support there as well. So this is kind of the all-time high balance is what I would call it. The mini balance from that Tuesday, January 4, 2022 all-time high session. And I would imagine that we are able to break up and get into it if that is a scenario. NASDAQ, go to a 5-minute. 745s or a level for me. Again, you can see this thing clearly offered, just like how ES was offered off of that kind of 70 area. Here it is on 745. It's really nice bids here. That's also where we were staying bid off of for the most part as we ramped up on that FOMC session. You got the point of control at 37.5 as well. So this is where I'm interested in getting long above 767.5. That is the prior all-time high. You can also see really nice bids off there. That was something like an 80-point move, a 53-point move off there. Above, if we clear 806.5, that trailing point of control, as well as the open at 820, I think shorts will be a little bit offside. Perhaps they can give it a whack at 855, that value area high from the session. But really, I think at that point you're fighting momentum pretty solidly. And I think instead it'd be best to hold off on the short side. Instead, look for a long off of that kind of 806 area. 691's a level of interest. Not sure how I feel about it. I think instead, given how low and weak the Nasdaq was, I mean, it came back into the pre-FOMC IB high, came, not too far from the low. What was that? 60 points, 45 points. That's not that far off. So that wasn't great. So I do expect some weakness. So probably would not be taking 691 long. Instead, I think this is kind of the area to hold long, this 737 to 775 spot. And shorts really need to hold this kind of 806 to 820 spot above. And I think, again, you're fighting momentum pretty hard. Anyway, that's how I'm looking at it. Should be pretty slow after about noon when Euro closes, and we should get a pretty boring OPEX, and that'll probably be it for the year for the most part. We do have trade next week, and I will be trading until the 21st probably, but not really expecting some dramatic moves at that point. Yeah. Hope that makes sense. Hope that helps. So longs 745, 767, 806. If we really punch through it, probably along 872s. I wouldn't really want to be short there, or at 855. I think it's a little bit risky on the ES. Long 63 to kind of 65, long 69 to 72, long 79s. This thing's just ramping. Perhaps a short 86 3/4, and then above there, I think we break this 90 to prior day's high spot and get into 95s, and perhaps even the all-time high. Hope that helps. Hope that makes sense. Have a great night. Trade safe.